anything that's being squared by itself. For example, if I have 5 squared, well, that can be written as 5 times 5, which is 25. So in this case, if I have a bracket squared, it just means that I have the bracket times that bracket. And this was cubed, you'd have 3 brackets multiplying each other. So now we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to first multiply the 2 brackets together. So I'm going to get rid of these brackets, but I'm going to add my own bracket because this -2 is still here. And x times x is x squared. X times 1 is 1x. And then 1 times x is also 1x. And 1 times 1 is 1. And this -5 here, it's not part of the multiplication. So it's going to be outside this big giant bracket here. This -5 is all the way to the outside and to the right. So you're not going to deal with it until the very end. So first you deal with 2 brackets. Now you're going to deal with this -2 that's in front, and you're going to multiply that to everything. But before we do that, let's make this a bit simpler. I know 1x plus 1x is 1 plus 1, basically. Is going to be 2x. We have 2x here. Now we're going to multiply the -2 with the 3 terms inside that bracket. The -2. Oh, sorry, no, we're multiplying the -2 now. So -2 times x is -2x squared. -2 times +2 is -4x. And -2 times 1 is -2. And here we finally have that -5 at the very end. So you can see that -2 and -5 are like terms. They have the same variable. In this case, no variable. They're just numbers, which can be added and subtracted. -2 minus 5 is minus. That's the answer. Hopefully this is making some sense to some of you. Now we're going to do the opposite, which is factoring. So we just learned expanding. That was multiplying. Now we're factoring. Factoring trinomials. Factoring is the opposite of expanding. To factor a trinomial in the form x squared plus bx plus c, we look for the product and the sum. The product is a pair of numbers that multiply together to equal c. The sum is a pair of numbers that we can add to equal b. The pair of numbers represent r and s in the form brackets x plus r and then brackets x plus s. That's a lot of reading. Let me show you exactly what they mean by all these words here. So just a reminder, nothing here is new. This is all from grade 10. Here we have a trinomial. Tri meaning three different terms, meaning they're not like terms, meaning I can't add or subtract them. I can't add x squared, 5x, and 6 together. Just can't do it. Just gotta leave it as is. Or rather, I can't simplify them. I can add them, but I can't simplify. So what do we do? The very first thing you need to do is write your a, b, and c values. A value is this one here, which is 1. Your b value is this one here, which is 5 in this case, and your c value is 6. And what did the question say to do with these values here? We need to find the product of a pair of numbers that multiply to equal c, and the sum is a pair of numbers that we can add to equal b. So b and c. The way I teach this is I let m and n be random numbers, 2 unknown numbers, we don't know what they are. So we're just going to let them be denoted by the letter m and n. So m plus n is equal to your b value, which is 5, And the same numbers, m times n, is equal to 6. So here we have m plus n equals 5, m times n equals 6. What two numbers hold, are true for this, for these two equations? Hold true. So we can guess random numbers, or there's a way to do this. And I'm going to teach you the way. I'm going to do it for the next example as well. But for this example, you always take a look at the product meaning multiplication term. So your C value in this case. Look at your C value and write down all the factors or all the possible combinations that you can get 6 by multiplying numbers. So the easiest one is 1 times 6, but I'm going to show you a technique using a calculator that will make your life so much easier. What you do is you do 6 divided by 1. And you write all this down. What's 6 divided by 1? Use a calculator, it's 6. Then you do 6 divided by 2. What do you get? 3. Then you do 6 divided by 3. What do you get? 2. And then you keep going until you do 6 divided by 4, 5, and 6. But there's a trick here. You don't have to waste your time. Once you have the numbers repeating, meaning I have 2 and 3 here, and then 3 and 2, the 2s and 3s are repeating. So I don't need to go past this point because by definition, like the way you do this, you've already calculated all the possible combinations and factors for 6. So 6 really only has 4 possible ways of calculating, or for, sorry, not 4, 4 numbers that can be the factors. That's 1 and 6, so 1 times 6, and 2 times 3. Those are the only 2 possible ways to make 6 by multiplying 2 numbers. So 1 times 6, 2 times 3. Now you have to check each one of these. There's only 2 things to check, either 1 or 6. So either this can be 1 and 6, and 1 times 6 is 6. 1 plus 6 is 7, so it's not that one. The other one can be 2 and 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 plus 3 is 5. It is this one. It is 2 and 3. So the 2 numbers we're looking for are 2 and 3. What do you do with that information? Well, once we have 2 and 3, all you need to do is now split this middle term into 2 and 3. What do I mean by that? We have x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6. So I split the 5 into 2 and 3. Now I didn't change anything because 2 plus 3 is still 5. The reason we do this is so we can do the math on the next step. And that is to take the first 2 terms here and find what's common between them. And I'll give you a hint. Like 99.999% chance x is going to be common, or whatever variable you're using. In this case, it's x, so x is common. And sometimes there's a possible number that's common. In this case, 1 and 2, the only thing common is you can divide both by 1. Then you're also going to take these next 2 terms and do the exact same thing. What's common between 3x and 6? I'll give you a hint. 99.9% of the time, x is not common, or whatever variable you're using. It's usually a number, and it could be any number. Well, except for 0. You can't divide by 0. But 3 and 6, hopefully you guys can figure out that 3 is the common factor here. So once I've figured this out, once I've written the division, fractions out, what do? We take whatever you're dividing by and write it in front of the bracket. That's going to be on the next step. I'm going to have 1x times. Now what is x? 1x squared divided by 1x? It's just x. And we got that plus sign. And what's 2x divided by x? Well, it's just 2. Here we're dividing by 3. And it's positive, so it's going to be plus 3. And in the bracket, we have what's 3x divided by 3? Well, 3x divided by 3 is just x, and we got that plus sign, and 6 divided by 3 is just 2. Now you know you did this right if these brackets are exactly the same. And once you're at this step, the final step is to just take these two brackets that are exactly the same and combine them into one bracket, x plus 2. And whatever is in front of these two brackets, you combine them together into their own bracket. And that's the answer. That's how you factor a trinomial. You find two numbers that add up to your b value, the same two numbers that multiply to your c value, and then you split the middle term. Then you do that division, that factoring, and then you just write it down. We're going to do another example. Don't worry. I know it's a little complicated. So let's focus on this one now. Yes, baby? All right. Let's continue. Here, don't forget to write that 1 and that invisible 1, because it's going to help you. This is my a value, this is my b value, this is my c value. Now, in these examples, your a value is not playing a role because a is always 1 in these examples. When we get to an example where a is not 1, I'm going to show you what role a plays. But for now, a is 1, so it's not really doing anything. So our two numbers that we're looking for are going to be m plus n is equal to the middle number, which is 1. This is why it's important to write that in. Otherwise, if I were to leave it like this, students are going to be like, well, there's no number, so it's got to be 0. I'm like, guys, just remember this is an invisible 1. All right, and then m times n equals negative 12. That's also important. That negative sign, don't forget. This number is not positive 12, it's negative 12. It makes a difference. All right, now that we have our two equations, m plus n and m times n, we are going to look at that 12. And to get factors, we don't care if it's positive or negative, that doesn't matter. So what we're just going to do is we're going to do 12 divided by 1, which equals 12. Divided by 2, which equals 6. Divided by 3, which equals 4. Divided by 4, which equals 3. Now we don't need to continue and do divided by 5, divided by 6, divided by 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Why? Because look, the numbers are repeating. We have 3 and 4, and we have 4 and 3. That means these are all the possible factors of 12. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. We need to now try from these three sets of numbers, these three pairs of numbers, see which one makes sense. So 1 plus 12, that's obviously not 1, that's 13. 2 plus 6, well, that's going to be 8. 3 plus 4, well, that's going to be 7. None of these work. Well, there's a hint here. And the hint is this negative sign here. Sorry. So this negative sign, what does that mean? That means one of these numbers has to be negative. Because think about it. 1 times 12 doesn't actually give you 12. Or, sorry, 1 times 12 doesn't actually give you negative 12. So what does that mean? That means in each pair, any one of the numbers can be negative. So either the 1 can be negative in the first pair, or the 12 can be negative. So you can do 1 minus 12 or 12 minus 1. But either way, you don't get 1. 2 minus 6 or 6 minus 2. Still don't get 1. What about 3 minus 4? What's 3 minus 4? Is that 1? Yes or no? What do you think? It is not 1. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. So it's not 3 minus 4. What about 4 minus 3? Is that 1? And the answer is yes. 4 minus 3 is 1. And then 4 times minus 3 is negative 12. So 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. we're going to